Hello, Dr. James Marcum with another biblical prescription for life. It is such a pleasure to share time with you today as we think about some of the big things that God has in store for us and we think about ways to improve our health. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about something that sometimes we don't think enough about, and that's circadian rhythms. What is a circadian rhythm? Why is it important? How can I optimize maintaining these rhythms to improve my health? But before we do that, I want to go to the scriptures. Genesis 1, verse 3, 4, and 5. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So the evening and the morning were the first day. One could spend an enormous amount of time on that alone. God giving us a universal law that governs the universe, that's still in effect today, that governs our body. And when we break one of God's natural laws, things just don't go well. Well, let's see how this applies to this term we talked about, circadian rhythm. Now, you probably heard this term, but circadian rhythm, that's an internal process that sort of governs our wake and sleep cycles. And all the organisms and living beings have these. Circa meanings around, dia meanings today. So it's around a 24-hour period, day and night. Now, there's different things that can affect the day-night cycles that can affect it. And the main ones include temperature, social interactions, exercise, meal times. But the main clue that affects the circadian rhythms is what we've seen here, light. Studies have shown that this master clock that regulates things like metabolism, our cognition, it happens in this place called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the SCN. That's in the brain's hypothalamus. The suprachiasmatic nucleus, it receives input from light receptors in the eyes. We have rods and cones in the eyes, but we also have ganglion cells that receive light signals, and it goes into the suprachiasmatic nucleus, then to the hypothalamus. And remember, the hypothalamus is the part of the brain that sort of integrates things together. And it promotes this wakefulness when this is stimulated by light, this alertness. So in the morning, when light hits us, when we awake, this is stimulated by a series of chemicals in the brain, including epinephrine, cortisol. The melatonin in the body goes down, and it is complex reactions that we're just now beginning to understand. But we now know that this regulates the entire body. So this light process that's a universal law given to us by God is important about optimal body function. And when we don't pay attention to this, things like our hormones, our body temperature, our immune system, our brains, it's thrown out of whack. And if you just want to test yourself with that, look at something like a jet lag. When you go across time zones or when you don't sleep at night, 1 or 2 nights you can get away with it. But if you did this night after night, week after week, the body would have problems. So it's very important in optimizing our health to keep this day-night cycle intact, this light-dark cycle intact. So we want to have natural light during the day, and then at night we want it dark. Now, this wasn't a problem for thousands of years because we didn't have electricity. But Thomas Edison, electricity, and then all of the technology, now man is staying up later and later. We're hurting these natural laws that were given to us by God, as we saw in Genesis 1. And when we disrupt this natural law, our body's chemistry becomes altered. We turn on the stress chemicals. We change our metabolism. We also found that it's been estimated that 15% of our genes are regulated by these circadian rhythms. The genes are turned on and off by these rhythms. We know that cortisol's changed, adrenaline's changed, inflammation's changed, and everything in the body is altered when these are disrupted. So it only makes sense to promote health and to slow down aging is to try to get back to the basics. At night, make it dark, turn off everything, the lights, turn off the devices, make things quiet in your life. What this will do is when it gets dark, the chemical called melatonin starts to increase in our body. This regulates lots of things, turns down our metabolisms, gives our body a chance to rest and recover. If we're throwing fastballs all the time, we're going to get tired. Likewise, if our body's going all the time, our brain, our digestion system, our bones, it wears out sooner too. So we want to pay attention to these day-night cycles. So I want to encourage you as early as possible, turn it off everything. Make it as dark as you can. In my room, we have these shutters. We like all the lights. When I go in there, it is very, very dark. Try to do that. Turn off every light you can. Turn off the cell phone. Don't watch the computer. Turn everything off. Let your melatonin levels come up, and it helps turn down some of these chemicals that need to be turned down so your body can rest, it can recover. So the next day when light occurs, boom, it's like a turn on switch. And all of a sudden your body's turned on, the metabolism kicks in, your day starts, melatonin goes down, these other chemicals change in your body. However, in our world, we're not paying attention to this law, this natural law that God's given us. And as we've done this, we've put stress on our body. Diseases like diabetes, obesity, we don't think as well. Breast and prostate cancer has also been associated by these negative rhythms. So it's something that affects the entire body. We must pay attention to it. So I feel bad for the people that have to work at night, especially people like the truckers or people that work night shift, or some parts of the world, especially in higher parts, these day-night cycles are altered greatly. So those people we have to pay real close attention to have a dark and light cycle to keep the chemicals in the body regulated well. Now, some people at night, they're not sleeping well. They might benefit from a little melatonin substance. But remember, melatonin will help you sleep and help you rest, but it's also going to trigger the turning down of all of these chemicals in our body so our body can rest better. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention as something that we can do to slow down chronic aging. That's pay attention to the light day cycles, try to make it dark at night, turn off all this extra stimuli, and pay attention to this law that God gave us at the very beginning. Because when we violate one of God's law, just like the law of gravity, if you jump off a building, something bad's going to happen. If you don't pay attention to these light dark cycles that was created, something bad is going to happen to your body. So this is something very important I wanted you to think about. It's a way to improve your health, lower the risk of cardiovascular disease, improve your metabolism, slow down the rates, or maybe help reverse diabetes, obesity, hypertension, all these metabolic disease, improve inflammation, help every part of your body just by simply is making it dark at night, so your body can make more melatonin. So when it's time to turn on the morning, you're ready to go so you can rest better. So that's something that we can all work on. Find a dark place, keep it dark. Try to go to bed earlier if you can. Get 7 to 8 hours of darkness every night so these rhythms can stay intact. So let's go back to that text again. Genesis 1, verses 3, 4, and 5. Then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So the evening and the morning were the first day. So hold that text with you and think about all the implications and think about how God created us. He just wants us to do the best we can and take care of the bodies. But sometimes this world has changed things. And boy, Edison, if he'd known he would have helped create all this chronic disease, well, maybe he didn't do it or didn't intend to do it. But all this light that we have late at night, it changes our physiology. And even if we don't believe it, something is happening inside of us. So try to keep it dark at night. Get back on these, keep your circadian rhythms. And if you're working the night shifts, I feel so sorry for you that you're going to have to really work harder to keep the rest of the body healthy and find times where you can keep it dark, where you can help reset these circadian rhythms. So I want you to share this video with your friends and neighbors. It helps other people learn more about their bodies. Also, it points them to the ultimate healer that's found in the scriptures, and through prayer, we want to focus on that, the ultimate healer. It also helps keep us positive, the things that we can do to improve our health so we don't have to be so dependent on modern medicine. We don't have to feel poorly. We can take care of this body as good as we can so the Holy Spirit can live within us. So give this a thumbs up. If this works for you, or you have some strategies that you want to share with other people about how to keep at night, about how when you violated the circadian rhythms, what they did to you, this might be a good place to share it with their friends and neighbors to encourage them to think about this as a way to improve your health. Well, I'm Dr. James Marcum, and I'm going to be back very soon with yet another biblical prescription for life.